Hello everybody! Today we're going to be unpackaging our Gordon's Express Composite Coach for HO and OO scale from Bachman. We just got it from Amazon and it costs $56.65, I believe, on Amazon. So why don't we go ahead and show some of the packaging here. You can see the front, the coach is in it with all the Thomas markings on the box. Let's take a quick look at the back of the package. And on the back of the package is kind of interesting because they list, maybe not all, but at least a lot of the other things that you can buy in the Thomas & Friends series. And the Gordon's Composite Coach is actually listed right up front here, right up at the top. First line right there. So let's go ahead and cut the clamshell or blister pack or whatever you refer to it as. Okay, so there it is out of the outer blister pack there, and it's sitting in a in a plastic kind of cradle to keep it nice and well packed. Looks good. Gotta gently remove it. There we go. So there it is. Let me just get a zoom in here. Okay, we'll throw it on the turntable and we'll take a closer look at it. Okay, so here is our Express Composite Coach on the turntable. We'll take a look around. The coach itself is about 10.5 inches from the tip of one coupler to the tip of the other coupler. And there's three primary colors on it. There's black undercarriage here, including the ironwork and the trucks. The trucks have metal wheels. And then we have the black roof. And then a nice two-tone paint job with some green on the lower and some kind of washed out yellow, it looks like, above that, along the windows. So let's go ahead and give it a spin. Okay, and on each end of the coach, there's a diaphragm that obviously connects the two cars and provides a walkway for passengers to move from car to car without being exposed to the weather. It looks like, from what I can see here, there's some simulated wood, material here making up the end of the car. And of course our hook and loop coupler and two buffers. As we continue around, we have pretty much the same on the other side. But one thing I do want to point out, and I'll when we complete our rotation, it'll be more apparent here. But notice the size of the windows here. These windows are a little bit smaller than the windows on the other side of the coach. So keep these in mind as we rotate around. And we'll finish our spin. Again, the ends are mirror images of each other with the diaphragm and the kind of the wood construction on, simulated wood construction on the end of the coach. And then here, now that we're back to the other side, you'll notice here the windows on this side are bigger than the windows on the other side. Just a detail that we wanted to point out. All right, let's take a look at the top and the bottom. Okay, on the top it's obviously a black roof, and it's a curved roof. I wouldn't quite say a dome, but it's a curved shape to the roof. And the remarkable feature on top of the roof here is these, looks like vent stacks all along the roof line here. Let's take a look at the bottom. Pretty unremarkable on the bottom. There's not a ton of detail. We have the double trucks on either end, obviously, with the hook and loop couplers. We have the Bachmann badging, or the Bachmann stamp here on the undercarriage. And we have some copyright information, but other than that, not too much for detail underneath the car. Let's get it back on the track. Let's give it one more spin, and again, note the window size from one side to the other. Bigger windows on this side. And as we move around, you'll notice the smaller windows on this side. And then back around. Okay, so a little bit of history on why we bought this this new express coach for Gordon. So in 2006, we bought Gordon and two coaches as a set. So we have our Gordon Locomotive over here. And then the two coaches that came with the set was a regular passenger coach here, which looks very similar to the one that we just bought and that we just unpackaged. And then the second coach that came with the set is this kind of brake van type of coach. And you can tell by the window configuration here. You can see this one has a normal set of passenger windows. This one has some passenger windows, and then it's got these sporadic windows there. They're a little bit spaced differently than the other windows. Yeah, so let's go take a closer look at Gordon and the other two coaches. Okay, so this is the passenger coach that came with the set that we bought in 2006. And we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because it really looks exactly like the coach that we just unpackaged. So let's just give it a quick spin. And get a nice quick look at that. Okay, so this is the brake coach. I think I called it a brake van earlier, but I think the proper term in this context is brake coach. Again, same paint scheme, two-tone paint scheme, black roof, and the remarkable figure on this brake coach here, or the remarkable feature, is the window configuration here. Kind of distinguishes it from the other passenger coaches. So let's give it a quick spin. Again, these are very similar, except for the window configuration. These are very similar. So again, we've got the diaphragm going between the cars, buffers, hook and loop coupler. And again, the window configuration, we have smaller windows on this side as we had on the other coaches. But again, we have fewer windows here in the last third of the car. Again, the distinguishing feature of the brake coach. Now, one other thing here, I don't think we need to see the bottoms of these. They're identical to the ones that we just unpackaged, kind of unremarkable in detail. Just has the Bachmann logo for the most part. There is one distinguishing feature also on this brake coach, is if we look at the roof, it has the vents here at the top, as the other ones did, but it also has a couple of vents on the other side here at the kind of at the part at the end of the coach that has the window configuration, the brake coach window configuration. So just a little bit of a difference in the top with the ventilation ports. Okay, let's give it one more spin. And there we go. This is the Express Composite Brake Coach. Okay, and last but not least, let's take a look at Gordon. Again, this was bought as a set in 2006 with 2 coaches. It's a really well detailed engine. Again, this is a Bachmann kit, HO00 scale. And you can see here it's got some just beautiful linkage work here on the engine in just regular exposed metal, unpainted metal. Gordon is, of course, engine number 4, and his paint scheme is blue, black with some red highlight striping. I guess Gordon would be a 4-6-2 locomotive, 4 small wheels up front, 6 drive wheels in the middle, and then 2 wheels in the back. The tender is a 6-wheel tender, but just some great detail. A lot of this gold trim right around the window here, super nice. And then you'll see here, we'll take a look at the top of it, but there's some gold paint up there on the whistle and some of the brass work that would have been on the engine. Hook and loop couplers, some red paint trim on the buffers. Let's give it a spin. Okay, here's our view from the rear. You can see there's a little bit of a scalloping shape here to the rear of the tender that's painted black. We have some simulated coal in the tender bed, red bumper, and some again the black buffers with the red detail there. Yeah, so we get a gray hook and a gray brake pipe. All right, let's continue to turn. So this side of the locomotive is pretty much a mirror image of the opposite side. Obviously same paint scheme, beautiful again. Linkage work here, bare metal linkage work, unpainted, looks good. I don't know if you can notice, but you get the little screw heads in there even. So yeah, just looks great. And of course, with all the Thomas and Friends locomotives, you know that we have the signature face on the front. So this is Gordon's face. And you'll notice here, I was saying that the paint was black, blue with some red piping and trim and all that, but there's also this kind of gray deck work here that slopes down at the front of the engine. So that looks pretty good. And then you've got the signature windows back here, and then again this kind of brass work that's painted in a brass color. And you've also got the gray hardware up front here, similar to the hardware that's in the rear of the engine. And then these 3 features here are the lamp irons. So let's give it one more spin. Let's see if we can't get in on that linkage. Okay, we'll try to get a close-up on that linkage detail. Really, again, you know, for these, for the price point on these Bachmann engines, this is really such a great level of detail. Very impressive. Let's end on the face. And there we go. Perfectly appropriate spot for a Thomas and Friends engine is to end on looking him right in the face. So Gordon is also one of the 2 express engines, steam-driven express engines. So they're not tank engines like Thomas. They have a tender, and they're much larger than the other tank engines. Okay, so now that we've gotten a good look at not only our new coach, but the train set that we got in 2006 with Gordon and the brake coach and the other passenger coach, let's take a look at them all out on the layout. Okay, before we get underway, I just wanted to mention that the new coach will be the coach directly behind Gordon and the tender. And I also wanted to mention, I forgot to mention of the detail, but I wanted to mention also that you can separate the tender from the locomotive. I didn't show that in the detail. I completely forgot, but I just thought I'd mention it here that you can uncouple the tender from the locomotive. With that out of the way, let's go.